All right, welcome to our deals of the week this week. We've got two really cool houses, and what's going on now, and this is really interesting, is that for the last 4 or 5 years, families trying to buy square footage was becoming increasingly difficult. They were just getting priced out, and people were having to settle for smaller houses. But we are now seem to be back kind of in a phase where if you're willing to go out a little bit from the city limits of St. Pete into Largo, into Seminole, you can start to find houses that are decent size, family size, 2,000 square feet or more, that are sort of coming into that affordable price range. Always qualify the word affordable. Um, you know, $500,000 or $600,000 still seems like a crazy amount of money to me, but that's just the world that we live in. But what we've seen more and more, and if you watch my videos, you've probably learned a little bit about how to look for seller motivation and, number of price drops and so forth. But what I'm really starting to see is people who bought in 2023 did not do a renovation, just moved in. Maybe the house was already renovated or in decent enough shape, but did not do a renovation since 2023. They are now, they're going to probably lose money. A lot of them are going in and pricing the house at a point where they could break even. I'm sure they've had this discussion with their realtor. They paid $500,000 for it, and they figure it's going to cost them $30,000 with commissions and closing costs and doc stamps and all that kind of stuff. So they're pricing it at $529, saying if I can just walk away even. Reality is that's not how the world works. That's not how housing market works. Nobody cares what you paid for your house. We only care what it's worth right now. And as a buyer, if I'm working, on the buyer side, that's what we're going to offer. Those sellers are not getting rewarded for that. They're lowering their price. They try it. It obviously is not working in most cases. The market comes a call on at a lower price, and they have to decide whether or not they want to sell at a loss. And that's going to depend on what they owe, what their mortgage is, if they're going to have to bring a check to closing, and so forth. So let's just jump right into this. We've got this wonderful house here that I saw yesterday, and I love this house. Now, we are in Bel Air Bluffs. I don't know if I've done a house in Bel Air Bluffs. Bel Air Beach is pretty close by, but this is definitely not in a flood zone. I looked at the flood map. It is solidly in the X flood zone. And as soon as I saw this number, $265 a square feet, or $265 a square foot for almost 2,300 square feet, I just assumed that this house was going to be very dated inside. And I think you're going to be surprised here in a minute that it's not. So let's first look at the price action here. We know the first thing that we like to look at when we're evaluating a house is how long it's been on the market, how motivated, and we can even use the word desperate now, a seller might be. And this one just went on the market February 20th at $650, a respectable 283 a square foot. We haven't seen the pictures yet, but so we'll use that to provide us with some perspective. But we see under $300 a square foot and a house is move-in ready. That's going to get my attention. Just a week later, they dropped it by $25,000. I'd be curious to hear the story behind that. Maybe they did an open house. Maybe they had a number of people come through. Maybe it was crickets and they realized they were just not even close. And then they went about a full month and then dropped it another $15,000 to this really nice looking number of $265 a square foot. I'm going to be honest with you. So let's buzz through the pictures here, or let's go look at the location first, because I think I mentioned that I'm not sure if I've done a Bel Air Bluffs house before. And this is a really, really good location. You are 2 turns from the beaches, but you are not in a flood zone. And again, I double checked the flood map, and you are solid. There's not even a sliver of flood zone within this neighborhood. So you should be in good shape there. So, and let's zoom out a little bit more so that you can see, get a little bit better perspective. You're just a little bit south of Clearwater, and it is it's a bit of a ride into downtown St. Pete. I'm not going to lie. That's going to be a 45-minute ride to get to downtown St. Pete. But if beaches are your thing, You're super close here, and there's lots of shopping in this area anyway, so I wouldn't be too terribly concerned. And then there's a couple of ways to go to the airport, which would be getting over to 275 here. You could go into Clearwater and down Gulf to Bay 60 and then over. That's a little bit more of a hassle. I would probably go this way. But either way, you're still going to be an hour from the airport, but again, you're super close to the beach. So let's take a look at the pictures here. And from the outside, you've got a pretty standard looking house for the area. Full 2-car garage, which is nice. I mean, this is one of the things you look for, because I think that the first picture of this house, let's go back to it real quick, and then we'll buzz through the rest fairly quickly. The first picture of this house that you see, even though I bet in person this landscaping looks nice, it does block up a lot of the house. If this were trimmed back to open up the house, because the grass looks pretty good, I think the house would show better. In person, it's probably pretty nice. But remember, looking for these clues, looking for things, this first picture where people are scrolling Zillow, this is what they're going to look at. If they don't like what they see, they're going to keep going. And I think this is hurting this house a little bit. And if you're in the market for a 4.2 over 2,000 square feet, stop and look at this. This is helping you. So let's go through the pictures here. Got a nice paver driveway. It looks like a newer front door. And again, remember I said I thought that this house would probably be pretty dated, but this was a 2014 renovation. So it's about a 12-year-old renovation. You can see like the owners have some, I'd say older furniture in here. It's perfectly clean and nice, but it's more traditional. But we're going to look past this stuff. We don't care about this. It's not staying. And we want to focus on stuff like, well, let's first focus on this. The cove ceilings, which is very popular 50s to 70s, say. It adds a nice touch. It's light crown molding, but it's sort of kind of built in. But really what we're looking for is this thing here. These are impact windows, and always look for the white frames. Not all impact windows are white frames, but oftentimes they are. And you can see the thickness of the frames here. That doesn't tell you absolutely that they're impact windows. In this case, I looked it up. They are impact windows, and on a house this size, I mean, that could have been 40 grand right there that they put in 10 years ago, which is, fantastic, because the house was built with the old aluminum windows. So you walk in, big open living area. I mean, yeah, the furniture, this is, again, the thing. Stuff set up kind of awkwardly. I don't know if this is kind of semi-staged or whatever, but no one would put 2 chairs on either side and walk through them. I don't think. It's not how I would place my furniture, but maybe they've scaled down to get ready to sell. But the house is super clean. We've got solid surface countertops. You can tell these are really nice cabinets here. If you like the darker wood. And again, 2014, so they're 12 years old. That's not, they're certainly not in need of replacing again. Very neutral tile on the floor. It's a big kitchen, separate laundry room, or it looks like it's kind of in the back of the house. Big, bedrooms are decent size. And they've got a lot of traditional furniture in here. Whenever I see this, I just think about my grandmother a little bit, but it's really nice stuff. So I'm not being critical of it at all. So that's a big second bathroom with a double vanity. Everything's tiled and solid surface countertops. I can't tell, and it doesn't say in the description, if those are wood floors or laminate floors. They look to be in pretty nice shape. So we roll through the bathroom or the bedrooms here, the final bedrooms and the primary bathroom here, which is giant. I mean, that's at least a queen size bed, so you can get a feel for sort of the scope of that room. And then this is the family room in the back. Fireplace. I mean, that table alone, you've got room. It's probably 8 chairs around that thing. So this is a nice big room. Maybe turn it into a den instead of a dining room. But then you've got the family room back here, which is just also really nice. I mean, look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. And mature landscaping in the backyard. Just, this is one of those things people look at and like, oh, this looks dirty. It looks terrible, old. You get a pressure washer back here for a couple $100, you're in good shape. I would probably clean this up. I don't know if through the pictures we can tell if any of this tree is hanging over the roof. No, it doesn't look like it. And we'll just take a quick look at the street view. Oh, there's a little guy out checking his mail. He got caught by the Google car. So this neighborhood, I can tell almost immediately, is filled with houses of like size. Really nice neighborhood. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this one. I am thinking, and prices have dropped, so it's really hard. It's really hard to tell. Let me just go back and look at when the last time this house was sold was. Okay, it was in 2014. May have been these people that renovated, but I'm betting that it was an investor and then it got sold. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm thinking on this one at $265 a square foot is a pretty good deal, but I'll be honest with you, if you could get this house at $255 per square foot, which would put you at $586 for 2,300 square feet, a true 4-2. Now this bedroom was not added onto. This is part of the original. There's plenty of new stuff in here. The roof is 2025. You still have the 2-car garage. You got the impact windows. It's in a wonderful neighborhood. If you want to be by the beach and have a good size house, this one's worth taking a look at. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. 2268 Indian Ave North in Bel Air Bluffs. If you could get this one at $586, would you make a bid for it? Drop a comment, let me know, and let's take a look at house number 2. All right, let's look at house number 2. This one is in the Largo area, which is technically, they have it listed as Harbor Bluff. So this one is also a 4-2, over 2,000 square feet. It's fairly recent on the market, $291 a square foot. Loving these under $300 a square foot houses, and I think you're going to be surprised at how nice this particular one is. But let's take a quick look at the location here. This is in a non-flood zone. And so this is the Bel Air area, and we were Bel Air Bluffs before, which was kind of right here. So we're all in that same area as the first house. So we're, a straight shot to the beach, no problem. Again, about 45 minutes or an hour to the airport, about 35, 40 minutes. And let's just call it 45 minutes to downtown St. Pete. But there's still lots to do out here. There's lots to do in Seminole. Obviously, you've got quick access to the beach, 10 or 15 minutes. And this house also in a non-flood zone. Double check that. If you use homes.com, this is a good guide when it shows flood factor, but it doesn't target the house. I think it just uses the area. So if you're closer to a higher risk flood zone, that number is going to go up. We use the FEMA flood maps. It's a flood zone X. So this is a low risk flood zone, just so that you know. So let's bounce through the pictures real quick and see what we see. This is a 4-2 with over 2,000 square feet, the full 2-car garage. Looks very clean on the outside. It's got a mid-century feel to it with this sort of stonework here, which I like. I would probably keep. And there's your garage, and you can see they did some real nice sort of modern touches. Now, I will say this is very trendy. I love it. I think it looks super cool, and I think it would be kind of a long-term trend. Some people may not like it so much, but it is one-piece paneling. So if you needed to, if you got tired of it, obviously you could take it out. And one of the things about this house that's interesting, there's a little step down here, and some of these houses out there were built with like semi-sunken living rooms, which is kind of interesting. So it's like, you see, it's just a little bit of a step down there. I don't know architecturally what the purpose of that ever was, like to just say you had a sunken living room. I mean, I'm not saying it's a trip hazard. You know your own house. You're not gonna trip on that, but I don't know what it adds aesthetically to have like a 6-inch drop into a living room. Not a big deal. It wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, that's for sure. But this is a recent renovation, as you can see here, with a beautiful open kitchen. I mean, this house is gorgeous, if you ask me. Beautifully staged as well. Nice big open living area. The roof is 2025, which is when they did the kitchen renovation as well, was 2025. And even you can see already out here, that's fresh wood. They built a fresh deck back there. Now, if you've watched many other videos, I don't care what kind of hardware you put on this. This is like sort of gold hardware to match some of the other hardware. Just don't do it if you're thinking about renovating your house. I mean, if you live alone, I guess, but don't put a barn door on a bathroom. It's just a terrible idea. I mean, on the closet, that's okay. I might leave that, but I'm not going to leave that on a bathroom door. I mean, look at this. They spent some money on this. This big, I think this is it's like printed tile. It's this large format tile and did a really nice job. I mean, everything in here is new. The floors too. And they might have gone over old wall tile. You don't usually see on a bathroom renovation like this, putting the wall tile up, but it's really nice. They spent a lot of money on this, I think. I mean, really, really nice. Super clean. I mean, the second bathroom is really nice too. I mean, somebody's got a nice design touch there. Everything else white and neutral. I mean, this is too small for me. Just a renovation tip. If you're ever going to build a deck off the back of your house, mark off a table here and make sure that you got enough room that when you walk out, you don't have to step on the grass to get to the other side of the table. You know, I mean, they could have gone out to here. I mean, practically they should have gone all the way out to here, added another 6 or 8 feet, and then they could have put the table over there. I know that's nitpicking, but drop a comment. Let me know what you think. This house is in really good shape. I mean, it's super clean looking. It's a 2025 renovation with the kitchen and the roof. Don't be too concerned with this water over here. Goes up here. So we're elevated enough that we're still in a FEMA flood zone X. So I wouldn't worry about that. And so this one went on the market in February 20th. They went on at 614, down to 605, down to 589 in just a little bit over a month. That's what we like to see, the under $300 a square foot. So drop a comment, let me know what you think. This is a total renovation, $291 a square foot. I'm going to say that my target would be $280 a square foot. And this is only because of the market. This is not a criticism of this house at all. Somebody did a wonderful job putting this house back together. It is gorgeous as is. I think at $569, it is a steal. You're close to the beach. This looks like a really nice neighborhood out in Harbor Bluffs. It looks like a motivated seller. They methodically dropped the price a couple of times. Drop a comment, let me know what you think. A 4.2 with a full 2-car garage in Harbor Bluffs. If you could get it for $280 a square foot, would you do it? Let me know. As always, my name is Steve Reynolds. I'm a realtor here in St. Petersburg. I cover all the Tampa Bay area. If you're thinking about buying or selling, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I would love to help you out. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you get notified of new videos. And with that, I will see you next time.